if they can pop off and win the Mobile One Mountain Classic. Cole, what does V1 have to do to shut down or at least contain the juggernaut that is G2?
I mean, it's a very simple question with an answer that's not quite so obvious, Dax. How do you slow down this fantastic G2 team? It looks like they have everything that they need. They have the composure, they have the solidity, they have the finishing. But V1 may have heart. We saw it yesterday against Complexity. It looked like they were down and out in that series, but they kept on fighting. And what they have as well is a player called Com and a player called Beast Mode who's come back this split and been so successful. But at the moment, they don't have too good of a defense. 1-0 early doors for G2.
So the answer to how you slow down G2 is not like this. Let this ball roll right out to JNaps. Com couldn't get there. Atomic in the way as well. And just 26 seconds in, G2 gets the first strike. And we wondered, is G2 really this good? I mean, they added Atomic, and then, of course, they won the second regional. And we're like, okay, well, maybe they were just playing for Jazzo. They got the emotional buff. There's no explaining this other than, yes, they are that darn good, as Com makes the stop right in front of Chicago. He'll try and leave that for Torment and get downfield, but JNaps is there to block him until Beast Mode just launches this across the center line, and Beast Mode can at least get this out of the zone, but only for a brief reprieve as G2 comes right back to work. Here they go again, JNaps denied.
Oh, it's just looking like G2 are going to score every time they come forward. Atomic now have a chance to get a flick reset or a fake. The ball just rolls past the post. And I mean, V1 have beaten G2 a couple of times this split, but the way G2 are playing right now, there is so much freedom for a team that is gunning for that first seed in North America. They look like they fully believe that they are the best team, not just in NA, but in the world. Look at this, Atomic is pre-jumping. Chicago's going for it as well. Everything seems to be connecting right now for G2. And look how far away Beast Mode is from that ball. There's just no clean touches for them and no freedom away from their own goal.
You know, the neutral observers around the world, not just in North America, have always had G2 under the microscope. Was Drees ever good enough? Was Rizzo ever good enough? Has Atomic been good enough? I think the answer to that question certainly has been yes. JNaps has always been good enough, and he's got a second goal.
He's been good enough for about 8 seasons now, Stacks, and here's why.
Yeah.
You know, it's the ability to change his mind in midair. He faked the flip reset. Beast Mode, a mechanical player himself, assumed that JNaps would go for the fancy thing, but in the end, just a simple second touch, and it's 2-0 for G2.
Version1 falling behind 3-1 against Complexity, needing that win to help solidify their quest for a spot in Los Angeles. And then they brought it all the way back. An incredible comeback effort that dashed Complexity's major hopes. They, of course, would later fall to NRG. This is blocked by JNaps. Chicago lobbing another ball in, and that's more time that Version1 is not able to commit to a comeback effort here in game 1. Beast Mode now 50 with JNaps. That goes right to Chicago, and just good team defense out of G2, the reigning North American champions.
I can sense that V1 are just trying to play themselves into this game and take 1 or 2 more touches on the ball instead of just, well, as I say that, they boom it. But for the most part, it's trying to be more gentle with their touch instead of booming it to get themselves involved a little bit and make a statement. But not quite happening for them just yet. It is early days, though, early doors. And this is great practice for them, you know. They're double committing. They're being rushed by G2. But as they're going into the major, it will be a good lesson to learn how good these top teams are.
Well, G2 just continues to pour it on here, and this G2 squad, adding Atomic, he gets the assist on that goal, his second assist of this opening game. I think the addition of Atomic certainly elevates G2 from a team that, okay, you expect to be in contention to make the major, to a team you expect maybe to contend to win the major. Hard to overstate exactly how good he has been for G2 in such a short amount of time. He gets another goal here and a 4-goal lead for G2.
I mean, it was a horrific touch from Torment, it has to be said, but G2 still had work to do to put that one away and make it 4-0, and right now G2 just look like they have no opponent against them at all. And I'll tell you what, Stacks, 48% of Twitch chat will be absolutely livid with Turtle right now. They'll be like, I was going to predict G2. I was going to be intelligent until that man. I couldn't say no. I looked into Turtle's eyes and I thought, if he says go for V1, then I will. But that decision seems to be backfiring a whole lot right now.
Well, the thing you have to worry about for Version1, who, by the way, yes, they are boot camping. They're all playing together at the same facility, and that has lifted them, in my opinion, to the spot now where they have qualified for the major. But they qualified yesterday, so all that pressure just kind of rolled off their shoulders at that point. Sure, winning this whole thing would be nice. You get the extra points. That will go a long way towards getting into Worlds or the wild card. You get the extra $20,000 as Torment will score here with 1:04 to go. But you do have to wonder if there's kind of a letdown after all that pressure and then the elation of actually qualifying.
I mean, it's been such a slow start for Version1, but Beast Mode just reminding us all why he is held in such high regard. A man who took an entire split off just to figure out what he wanted to do. Does he really want to be a professional Rocket League player? He comes back and he says, yes, the answer is yes. Completely improves his team. And the speed that he showed going around the arena right there, completely outpacing G2 of all teams on defense who have been so solid, just a little sign that V1 are here by merit.
And we've seen players step away for some amount of time, sometimes just a few months, as is the case with Beast Mode, sometimes much longer. And when they come back, they don't seem to still have that same zip. Beast Mode does, though. Nobody has anything here. Chicago adds yet another, and it's a playmaker for Atomic in the opening game.
I don't want to pick on Torment too much, but he has just done a bit of a backflip there from way underneath the ball. So I feel like V1 have written this first game off, and they're just, going a bit chasey, diving at the ball a little bit, not maybe caring too much how the result of this first one goes, seeing if they can just, loosen up a little bit as the series goes on. When are you going pro stacks? You're talking about people coming back? When is going to be your sort of first foray into professional RLCS?
As a player, I'm waiting for the neural implants once I finally get properly induced into the Matrix.
So you have to have a brain for that, so I'm not able to do that even then.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting on mine too. This goes to the back wall, and G2, the only question left is how many goals will they score when all is said and done? They got one more trip down the field. No, that ball will just die on their half. And so it's only a 5-1 victory for G2.
I think the best thing you can say about V1 there is that they scored a nice goal. Beast Mode zipping around the pitch using those wall dashes was a thing of beauty. Good speed. Torment was there to finish it. But in defense, I mean, it wasn't V1's strongest defensive performance at all. I mean, obviously credit to G2. They make a lot of teams look a little bit silly when on defense, but we can certainly expect Version1 to do a lot more than that as this series goes on. But I mean, Stacks, G2, they are just doing everything right at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of crooked numbers on the G2 half of the scoreboard as well, including 7 shots from Chicago alone. He equaled Version1's offensive output in that category, part of a 13-shot salvo unleashed on the Version1 half of the field. And now we go to Forbidden Temple Game 2, a fresh reset now for all of these players and a chance for Version1 to make good after G2 just did whatever they wanted to on the offensive half of the field.
Yeah, well, as a Brit, I appreciate your cricket reference. And the best thing you can say for V1 in that last game is that at least they weren't hit for 6, only conceding 5 goals in the first one. Big question now, is the G2 step up even further and really make a statement, not just to Version1, but to their entire region? Another statement. Or do V1 step up? That's what we want to see. And that is almost what we do see. But Atomic, I think he fell from the ceiling. What a save that was. But a good start still for Version1.
On any other day or at any other time, yes, Calm scores that. That was a just rocket right at the net. Calm happened to be there. Or rather, Atomic happened to be there. This bounces out of the corner. Beast Mode will score the open net after the miss out of the corner, and Beast Mode gives Version1 their first lead of the series.
Version1 are here to play, looking a lot better right now. Beast Mode with the simple finish, and it's 1-0.
Unassisted there for Beast Mode, 30 seconds into game number 2. Maybe a turning point for Version1. We saw G2 open the floodgates early. Version1 would love to pay back the favor. Beast Mode's got this. It's the right guy for the job, though it has been Calm who has been the steady rock offensively for Version1 in a season where, Calm, his confidence has been shaky, and you haven't seen any signs of that lately. He looks like he's kind of been reborn in this winter split. Torment now, denied by Chicago, who'll dribble around. Beast Mode slows this down, and more importantly, as we saw Justin do so many times yesterday, collects it on the back wall, dribbles out. And now it will be Chicago against Torment. just ran right into him, so that'll kill the play and force JNaps all the way back to play this over to Atomic. Team play so critical for G2 to slow down Version1. This is a team that one goal, kind of an outlier for Version1 in the last game. They come in averaging almost 2.5 a game, and they're about to get another. Torment scores on an open net as they caught G2 napping. Some mistakes you just can't afford to make no matter who the opponent is, and they've let Version1 get 2 unassisted. That one from Torment from long range. And now Beast Mode looking for more. He's going to try and set up Torment. No, Beast Mode went for himself. As we welcome Cole back, and we see Version1 up 2 goals now, looking like kind of the inverse of game 1.
Stacks, my internet, not my internet is struggling, my tech is struggling this weekend. It's one of those weekends, but thankfully the Rocket League is going well enough to make more than up for it as G2 can.
You got to get the hamster to pedal faster.
I am feeding it carrots as we speak. Run faster, Fido. It's just refusing to. Again, one of those weekends, but we're all good, hopefully. Beast Mode's going to put this one into the center, and it's just looking like V1 are playing a lot better in the second game. They have stepped up their game as we expected and hoped that they would.
Beast Mode will try to play this by Chicago. Easier said than done, but Torment has another launch downfield, and it is looking very similar to what G2 did in game 1. But what a read by Atomic, and even better by Beast Mode to recover and make the save. It looked like Atomic had the read of a lifetime. Now JNaps will score on a relatively open net, and G2's right back in it.
Oh, look at them go. Yeah, never safe when you're up against G2. JNaps will just keep that ball going up against the Version1 net and eventually power it home. It was a nice finish, but you have to say it has been coming for G2. Version1, can they hold their nerve here? They had the 2-goal lead. Everything was going well. You know, they had a few nice mechanical plays. They were looking like the faster, zippier team. But G2 always have that ability to step right up. It's a good kickoff from Version1. Has given them some pressure. And Com is going to have to try and pass it on to a teammate. Oh, for a second, I thought that was loose, but Atomic couldn't quite make it in.
If Com could have got him for that faster, looked like they might have had a numbers advantage. Instead, double commit at the net, and Atomic shot saved away by Beast Mode. Excellent recovery to keep the lead intact for Version1. Though G2 continues, even though they trail, to outshoot Version1. It was almost a 2-to-1 ratio in game 1. And it's getting to that point now. It's actually now 9-3 in game 2. But what matters? The numbers up top, and Com's added a third.
An absolute disaster there for GT. Look at JNaps. His dodge takes him over the top. It ends up being a perfect assist for Com, who can't possibly miss. I mean, he's scored some brilliant goals so far in this tournament. That one is not one of his best, but he won't care at all. It returns Version1's 2-goal lead.
Beast Mode, a full tank of boost, and he got the challenge on JNaps, so that's double whammy for G2 as this ends up right back on their half of the field. And now they find themselves chasing a 2-goal deficit yet again. JNaps had to avoid Com before he could get up and play this ball away. And Beast Mode shot right at Atomic, who was starting to get a little impatient, but he held on just long enough. Atomic can't get to this, though, and JNaps forced to stay at the back line. That is not where they want JNaps at all, who had a couple goals early in game 1. They want him downfield, maybe to receive a pass like this from Atomic. Instead, he's right back behind midfield, chasing this ball down with 45 to go.
G2 are looking a little bit loose again. A few double commits coming in, which we haven't seen from them at all in this entire tournament. It's because V1 have just completely upped the pace. In the first game, they were so slow. It almost looked like they weren't at the race at all, whereas in this one, absolutely at the top of their game. Their dynamic working perfectly. G2 looking a little bit shaky there. You know, you can see Chicago. Normally, he'd at least get a touch on that ball, but this time has to pull out of it. Has to go for a backflip just to keep himself in the game.
Down to 17 seconds. Got to score right about now. 2 defenders up in the air. Chicago trying to go underneath both. And Beast Mode got down to make the initial save. Com makes one more as well. Down to 7 seconds left. Last gasp for G2. And they've got life with 3 to go.
I mean, it's rare that we see more than one player defending the backboard, and V1, they were just, everybody camped back as deep as they could go, seeing if G2 could break through them, but G2 were good enough to break through them. It's going to be a big 3 seconds in this series.
4th goal in this series for JNaps. They need one more. They got the ball in the air at least. And Atomic, forced to actually slow play this because Calm had the read. Needs one more touch. I know he kept that from going to the ground from Torment. Chicago can't keep this in the air. Great challenge as V1 hangs on and levels the series.
As this all goes on, we're learning more about version 1. You know, first it's, are they good enough to break into the top 5? The answer to that is yes. Second, you know, is Beast Mode going to be good enough after his break to still compete at the high level that he wants to? Very much so. Third, how do they adapt when a series and when a matchup is going massively against them? And the answer that we've just discovered is really well. You know, they tweaked their game plan just slightly. I think they went into that one a lot more aggressive, fearing G2 less, respecting G2 less. And it worked out for them perfectly. Even after they conceded that late goal, they held on with the G2 rally and they were able to defend when they had to do so.
So now we wonder, how long is this going to be sustainable for version 1? Because you could see the numbers there. They were, once again, woefully outshot, but efficient. 3 out of their 5 shots did find pay dirt, but they still gave up 13 shots on the other side to G2. Second game in a row, and maybe a little fortunate that a couple of those did not find their way into the net. Now we go on to game 3 at DFH Stadium. Something's got to give. 13 a game is not sustainable for any defense in the world. How does V1 counteract that? Maybe with some offense. Calm dropped it down, and it's blocked away by Jnaps.
Definitely with some offense. The more they have the ball, the less dangerous G2 will be, because as soon as they get it themselves, they can just come up with so many angles. You look at one player, the other one flies in from nowhere and puts it on your goal. Again, though, it's well defended by version 1. They saw it coming, but poor touches like that from Beast Mode. They cannot go to these G2 players, and they cannot keep giving away these shots. Another one from Atomic, the redirect, saved by Torment this time. G2 knocking on that door so loudly, though, at the start of game 3.
Atomic angling down. Beast Mode will just pop it away. Jnaps just got up in time. That sets up Chicago, who just launches back to the backboard. Beast Mode calls off Torment. And here goes Calm, who has been awesome this weekend. Had his pocket picked by Jnaps, though, and that's a great pass out to Atomic. Beast Mode kept it out, and Torment to the rescue as well. All hands on deck defensively for version 1, and it pays off.
Yeah, I mean, you say all hands on deck defensively, but Beast Mode put Torment in so much trouble there by flying in as the second man for a ball that was not his, leaving Torment completely isolated. I'm actually so impressed with V1 that they managed not to concede there, but it still puts them on the back foot even now. G2 with the boost control, with the attack, with the pressure, with the ceiling pinches, but now V1's defending is a lot better.
Oh, Beast Mode narrowly got to Atomic there. That would have opened up the net. Instead, we remain scoreless for as long as we have it all in this series. Seen a lot of early goals out of version 1 and G2. Things have settled down now in game 3. Calm, pinch downfield. Beast Mode will give chase, and Atomic gets obliterated for his efforts.
Yeah, he tried to bounce over the top of Beast Mode, but Beast Mode just waited a split second, saw where the jump was going, and took him out the game. Doesn't mean too much, but it just leads to a little bit of just neutral territory right now between these two teams, and the question is who's going to be the first to put in that defense-splitting pass that they're all looking for, or slow down the game and really take control of it. Someone attempts to do so, but his dribbling takes him nowhere. And version 1, they always took a little bit boost-starved. Whenever we cut to one of their players, they're maybe on 15, maybe on 20. You can see Beast Mode there didn't have the boost to attack that ball, so they need to make a little bit more use of the bit that they get, because if they don't, they're scrabbling back for defense, and it just doesn't work. It's 1-0 G2.
Yeah, version 1 trying to play the, I don't know, the 50 boost challenge or something, because yeah, you're right. They seldom have an average of 50 between them. G2 has done a great job managing boost overall. And another big goal out of G2, this one much later than they're used to. Now Atomic looking for more. He had the better read. Jnaps coming on as well, and he pushed that wide. Oh, he'll want that one back, especially if Beast Mode marches down the field and shows him how it's done, but he couldn't control this, and then Jnaps just goes right into him to ensure he could not get a clean shot. Torment does, and Chicago saves. Beast Mode follow. That's popped away by Chicago as well.
Beast Mode, who had no boost during that, by the way. I think we're seeing it quite a lot, that boost management maybe isn't version 1's best strength. This is better from Calm. He's got 75 to play with. He used it to follow up and that just makes G2 panic a little bit more. And now Version1 actually do have full boost control, and this is a pretty decent sustained attack from them. Beastmo putting it into the corner. It's good play from them. They seem to have steadied the ship, slowed down a little bit, and not falling for that pressure. Oh my, I am the biggest caster curse in the world. It's 2-0 G2.
I'm glad somebody took the mantle off of me. 1:43 to go, and yep. One of many shots out of G2. They've already got 9 with just over 100 seconds remaining. It's a 3-to-1 ratio, 9 shots to 3. Again, maybe a 10th on the way, but Calm got back to this one, and the lead remains only 2 for G2. It lets Version1 hang around in this game, and they have been deadly efficient with their shots. They've had to be to hang around in this series. They've got to get something into the net now. Torment pops around 1. That's not the greatest from Atomic. He gets knocked away from the play by Beast Mode, and all Calm can do is sky it up for Torment, and it's good enough! V1 back within 1.
I'm not quite sure how that one found its way in. I thought that the shot wasn't quite there. Com did well to turn the ball around the corner, and Torment got everything on it that he could. Could Chicago have done a little bit better there? Perhaps. Perhaps he could have done. Maybe he jumped just a little bit early or a little bit late. But it is 2-1 now to G2, and Version1 showing again that they can scrap when they have to.
Beast Mode off of JNAP, so that is a disappointment for Calm. He was hoping for a ball to get through. Torment makes the save as JNAP tried to play hero. Now Chicago killing more time with a minute to go. Only so much he can burn away, though, as Beast Mode's waiting at midfield. He's looking for that midfield boost. It wasn't there for him. Doesn't matter. He can still challenge. And now Torment off the misplay by Chicago. Atomic bailed him out. Everybody, of course, so far back, you don't expect that misplay to come out. And so it's a break for G2. They remain in front, maybe by 2. No Torment with the save.
V1, though, are causing mistakes in the G2 defense. And if one more will come in, maybe they'll punish it. Maybe be expecting it. But for now, it's G2 on the attack with 25 seconds left. Chicago wants to get this one towards JNAPS, but the pass only falls to Calm.
Calm a little indecisive there. Gave up the shot. He couldn't get up the wall fast enough. But it worked out okay. Demolition on Chicago, and Beast Mode scores from a ridiculous angle.
That was a disgusting angle from Beast Mode. It's the sort of one where as soon as you realize it's fine in the top corner, you're like, surely not. Torment, I think, wanted to go for a redirect and surely was called off there by Beast Mode. 11 seconds left. V1 back in it.
The comeback kings have done it again. Level with overtime looming in game 3. Massively outshot, no problem, as Calm clears away. And we maybe go to overtime. This is going to stay up, though. And JNAP's probably not doing anybody any favors keeping that in the air as this goes all the way across. Beast Mode, drop down to Calm for the win, and he rolled it along.
Oh, you can see from their reactions on V1's side, they knew how close that was. That could have been a chance. Just a few inches too far back to not be able to put that one away. But V1 ending this game much better. On the cusp of taking the lead in the series. Maybe getting to their first grand finals. They've got a battle now, though. This is such a good chance for them, Stacks.
Yeah, maybe somebody needs to tell Version1, hey, you don't need to win this event outright anymore to qualify for the LAN. You got there. But winning certainly elevates them perhaps out of that number 5 seed. And if you can avoid being in the low seed in your region, you'll take it. What a save along the goal line. Follow up from Torment goes through, and Version1 scored 3 unanswered to steal game 3.
That was just brilliance all round. First, the demo, the shot was great before it, the save was fantastic as well. And then that finish from Torment, I'll tell you what, was not as easy as it seemed. And overtime, having that sort of angle to play with, you know, technically it was an open goal, but still a bit of work to do there for Torment. And it just shows his experience and composure to roll it home. Version1, they're being, as you say, Stacks, massively outshot, but they're outscoring G2 one way or another.
They are outscoring G2. And yes, by the way, 13 seems to be the lucky or unlucky number for G2. They've hit that mark again, this time with an overtime, and again with a loss, second in a row as Version1 jumps ahead 2 games to 1. Of course, led by Calm, who, yeah, sure, he's got a goal, he's got a couple of assists, but what you don't see on the scoreboard is the demos. Seems like every single V1 goal almost that he doesn't score is set up by him just turning off ball cam and ramming right through a G2 defender, opening up the net.
Yeah, it's something G2 love doing themselves. You know, JNaps, whenever he doesn't have that ball, he wants to play in front of it and disrupt the opponents as much as he possibly can. And V1 have definitely taken a leaf out of their book, and it is being very effective against this G2. You know, you asked me at the top of this series, Stacks, how do you beat G2? What is the tonic? What is the ingredient that so many teams are missing right now? And the answer is disruption. If you can affect their rotations, if you can take one of them out the game, then suddenly they become very beatable. But that is easier said than done. They're so good at dodging these demos because so many players go for it against them, and their shooting is so good as well. But so far, after a few chances, still 0-0, and a good save from Com at the start of Game 4.
Version 1 fans used to seeing their team play in overtime and used to the heart palpitations that come from that. This ball is popped away by Beast Mode. They actually have the best win percentage in North American overtimes, 21 and 12 overall in OT. Just no surprise. They play so often. They've got ice in their veins. Here goes Beast Mode. He's got enough boost, and he scores!
When he has a little bit of boost, look what he can do with it. He used everything that he had in the tank there. Look at this. First the pre-flip. Oh, and then the second touch. Atomic and JNap, see you later. Not able to read it when it's that good. What a finish.
G2 started this series with 4 unanswered goals in Game 1. V2 now over the past... V1 over the past game or so have equaled that. 4 unanswered for Version 1 as they have answered the call thrown down by G2, and now they are rolling into Game 4.
Yeah, it's just individual quality right now from Version 1 seems to be the difference between these two teams. They're connecting with these ideas that they're having in the air. And still, whenever we cut to them, just keep an eye on how much boost they don't have. You still rarely see them with more than 20. Look, there's Beast Mode on 7 right now. It's just every single time it seems like they've got nothing in the tank. And I think that maybe that's part of the plan, because G2 are thinking, oh, they can't do anything with it. But just that last little tickle of boost is just taking it over the top of the G2 defenders.
By all known metrics, Version 1 should not be ahead in this series, but here we are. They got a 2-1 lead and a lead in Game 4. Atomic waiting at the back, and Beast Mode not giving him much time to breathe at all. Got a bump from Beast Mode, and Com came up empty on the ball, so Beast Mode will take over. And Chicago disguised this up, and Torment waiting for a mistake. None forthcoming as Atomic launches downfield. Com missed it, and he goes right through Torment, does Atomic.
I think the G2 have had enough of Version 1 whiffing the ball, and they've started to read it happening. You know, a couple of games ago, Atomic might have assumed that either Torment or the other defender who was diving across the screen might have made some sort of connection with the ball, whereas now Atomic's like, yeah, I'll probably miss that. I'll follow it up, I'll score, and it's working. So V1, I do fear for them that any second G2 are going to start stopping falling for their strangeness, and maybe chucking some of their own as well. The fake brings out 2 of them in defense, and then Com manages to see the job away. Good defending from V1 after a moment of smart attack from G2.
That goal, the first for G2 since they took a 2-0 lead in Game 3, and we thought, all right, now they've kind of weathered the storm from Version 1, and they can kind of coast to a dub. Not the case after that flourish from Version 1. And now Torment with a drive, bar down, and it's a race to see who will get there. It's Beast Mode who makes it 2-1.
I mean, even that finish, it came off 2 of them. It was a great bump from Com as well. You identified it earlier, Stacks, and then Beast Mode, we'll call that a redirect. We'll call that a brilliant redirect. A pre-jump as well from Version 1 there to make it 2-1.
I mean, G2, they are bombarding the Version 1 half of the field, especially the net, with shot after shot, but they themselves are just getting bullied by V1. Chicago intercepts here from Torment, and Com will peel off that, take the midfield boost. He'll let Beast Mode come up and make the challenge. But now it's Com against Atomic, and, well, Atomic still managed to get the shot off, even though Com got the bump, and there's JNaps to tie the game.
Yet again, a V1 whiff that's been read by G2 earlier on. Maybe JNaps doesn't go for this one. He assumes that Beast Mode will connect, whereas now he's thinking, yeah, they're missing a few of these. I think that Version 1 are trying to embrace the chaos as much as they possibly can. You know, earlier on, when you said Com peeled off from that ball, it was a brilliant decision not to go for it. Completely faked out the G2 touch. But unfortunately for V1, G2 got the pressure back there, but V1 have pressure from the kickoff. It's beast mode with a flip reset that doesn't quite work out. And now Torment can do some aerial acrobatics.
I think if beast mode could have got any kind of a ground pinch off of that and just rolled that home, I don't know if Chicago was going to be able to react in time. But now he'll take this. It's Calm popped up right at Chicago, who's got Atomic to the corner. And Chicago's shot just rolls harmlessly to the corner. And we edge ever closer to the final minute of regulation in Game 4. After overtime in Game 3, an unlikely overtime in Game 3, following a furious comeback charge from Version1. It's G2 who have had to play from behind twice, but they too have answered the bell. Torment needed one more touch, didn't get it. And now Atomic has run out of juice. He'll have to steal some from V1's half of the field. And yes, that's the common trope. Version1, not a lot of boost in the tank, but doing just enough as that's pounded to the ground by Torment, and that threw off Chicago's read.
Two Version1 players on the backboard again, just waiting for G2 to come forward. And as soon as the touch is made, maybe one of them goes, maybe none of them go, maybe it's a double commit. Who knows? G2 certainly don't know. But it's still 2-all. V1 are coming forward. They might be able to steal this one. They're doing a really good job of confusing G2. But you got to say credit to G2 as well, because they are just not getting impatient, not getting frustrated, coming forward, sticking to their game plan, which gets ever more difficult when this series starts to get more nervy for them.
Well, G2 have now passed the 13-shot mark. They've got 14 in this game, only conceding 6 on the other side, and still, they're in the fight of their lives. Time winding down, and a demolition on Calm ends V1's hope of winning in regulation. We go to a second straight OT.
Well, you said in the last game, Stacks, that Version1 love their overtimes. Don't forget as well, this is the team that love their deciders. So if it does go down to Champions Field, V1 will have been there probably more times than anybody else so far this season. Chicago might win the overtime quickly. JNAP's going to try and put that one away, but...
Okay.
Well, I guess I pre-jumped the cast there, Stacks, and it's backfired horrifically.
Yeah, what happens with Calm here? He just ready. Didn't get his flip coming through, and well, I speak for probably every G2 fan in the world when I say we take those as G2 ties the series.
Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to get across there, Stacks? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't quite know how or why that happened. Everything seems to go in slow motion. Torment assumed that Com would hit the ball. Com didn't hit the ball. And G2 won.
You ready for an absolutely bonkers number?
Yeah, go on.
That was G2's 55th shot of this series. They have conceded 25 shots. Series is 2-2. Numbers make no sense. I've got all the numbers right here. They mean nothing.
Yes, stats
mean
no stats. You're going off grid, man.
Yep.
That's what we want to see.
Yep, Octane's in the mud. Just the numbers don't matter anymore. Here we go. Game 5, Wasteland, between Version1 and G2, with a spot in the grand finals on the line at the end of this series.
Wow, okay, yeah. I mean, shake it off, Version1. Shake it off, everybody. That last goal never happened. It's 2-all. We start from here. A great demo and almost another brilliant save, but Atomic, again, on that goal line. The man is like he plays the game in slow motion and everybody else is at double speed. He just constantly seems to be in the perfect place every single time. And he's got the mechanics to get himself out of situations as well. Chicago's certainly got the mechanics to finish this one. Not on that occasion, and V1 holds strong in the first 30 seconds.
Chicago deep into the corner, waiting for anybody to get central for a pass, and Calm will just sky this into the air, take charge, and yes, the mental reset has to come now for Version1, because they've gifted G2 a win that, let's face it, G2 played well enough to earn a win, but Version1 got to feel like they let that one slip. So this is skied out for Atomic. Needs one more touch to get down to Chicago, who comes in and disrupts V1's defensive effort, bringing this to the corner. Across it goes. Atomic was there a moment ago, but all the way back now as Beast Mode will clear.
That was a lovely pass there from Torment. Just buying himself a couple of seconds of the backflip and then teeing it up for his teammate. Really good play in defense. And V1, you know, they're embracing this chaos. They're living among it, and they're looking like they're a lot more comfortable in it. G2 now the team that are looking like they're struggling in defense a little bit, and V1 coming forward with some clean rotations.
who will blink now in game 5 as Chicago brings this perilously close to the goal line across. And he'll pop that out. He was looking for Atomic, but Beast Mode took him out. Calm took out Chicago. The problem is JNaps had the ball in the air at midfield. And so G2 weathers the storm there, and Version 1 still hemmed in their own zone.
Yeah, well, it's Wasteland Stacks. You got to go for those demos. You got to make the explosions rain across the pitch. We want to see debris, tires, bits of chassis strewn all among it. Another one now comes in from Chicago on Torment. It's all getting a little bit fiery out there despite having no goals in the first couple of minutes of this game.
The battle card graveyard encircling the arena. Plenty of demos here. Atomic is up in the air, dropped down to Chicago. They had the plan, the execution not there. Now JNaps will try. Gonna call his own number, and Torment intercepts Chicago. Indirect off the ceiling intended for Atomic, but cleared away. Now Beast Mode got a free look at one in the wing, and JNaps came out to meet him.
That would have been so sick there earlier on from G2, but it's V1 now that have the chances. Beast Mode, he just tries to place it home. Not quite got the angle to put it away. I think he jumped a little bit too early, which meant that he couldn't get underneath the ball to send it upwards into the corner. He just had to kind of slam it downwards, which is what G2 wanted, but Version 1 keep on their attack, and now they're looking more solid.
Well, this is the deepest we've gone now into any game without anybody scoring. You can sense the tension is there now. JNaps around Torment. Loose in front, but Beast Mode gets there and has full boost. Calm takes out Atomic, so that kills off the G2 attack. Calm going downfield, who was looking for JNaps and just could not get the demo or the bump. Torment now around Chicago, and this is still dangerous for Version 1. There's the bump by Calm! By God, he's done it again!
Oh, this Calm guy, you can never relax when he is on the field. Look at that. You think you got a JNaps? No, you do not. Calm, he just seems to figure it out as he goes along. I love it. I love Calm. He is absolutely brilliant and chaotic, and you just, yeah, you can't read the man.
All after the mistake in overtime of game 4, Calm makes up for it in a huge way, but now they've got to defend for 90 plus seconds. Chicago turned on this, but Atomic dives in. And he won that challenge. Chicago up for JNaps. Torment got in the way from behind. World-class defender. He has been from day 1 in the RLCS. And he comes through again. Atomic can't drop this by Calm. Chicago taken off the pitch. Torment couldn't make the save, but it goes crossbar and away. And Torment just seamlessly collects.
Oh, Beast Mode moved a little bit close to Torment there again, which is going to put Calm in a little bit of trouble if this ball can find its way around the corner. V1 still scrambling to get back. They need to win this ball very soon. Beast Mode and Torment, both of them go, which means there's a gaping hole there in the Version 1 defense. Atomic tries to place it over them. All 3 of them are there. JNaps is surely going to score. No, he's not. Beast Mode has saved it from the backboard. How have G2 scored? How are V1 still surviving? The pass doesn't make it to Atomic, but G2 will surely come again.
This is the only game so far where Version 1 has outshot G2, and they're gonna take a 2-0 lead. Beast Mode gets another open net. Boom.
I don't care how much experience you've got. I don't care that, you know, you're already guaranteed to make it to the major, fighting for that first seed. You've already won the last regional. That is tilting. The fact that G2 Esports didn't score then, in the context of this series, Stacks, that is frustrating.
This is, again, the first game where G2 has not just had a significant shot advantage, and now it's looking more and more like Version 1 is going to go to Neo Tokyo on match point.
And they have absolutely earned it. You know, they've made a couple of mistakes in this series, but they have stuck to their game style. Game 1, they just looked a little bit overawed by the situation, and it was nowhere near what they're capable of producing. But since then, you know, they're playing this game their own way. They've not gone into their shell and tried to be as safe as humanly possible because they know that G2 can so easily penetrate that and will time and time again. Instead, they're sticking with what works for them. They are sticking with the unpredictability that G2 are struggling just as much as any of us to read right now. I'm really impressed with that game right there from Version 1. And G2 have taken a timeout, and I'm not surprised at all because Version 1, it's like they're in their heads.
Yeah, not a surprise to see the timeout. You can't take it with you, right? So you take it now when you are facing match point, as this series I think that game more than any has kind of turned this series on its head because version 1 finally outshoots G2. So the one thing G2 had going for it every single game, not the case. By the way, I love Direct, our statistician here on the RLCS. I love just the goofy numbers he feeds us. Get a load of this, Cole. Before this series, in games where G2 had 13 or more shots, they were 30-6. That's how good version 1's defense has been, that they fought to a stalemate, 2 games apiece, and now have a lead on match point after, let's face it, a dominant win in Game 5, setting them up to get to the grand finals here on Championship Sunday.
It became a dominant win towards the end of that game, and I think that what Coach Safi will be saying to them now is that it shouldn't have been a dominant win. You know, they are the technically superior team in this series, even though it's not going their way. I think for G2, it literally is just a case of keep doing what you are doing. Don't get frustrated. This is more of a mental reset as opposed to some sort of tactics change, I imagine. But look how relaxed they look. They are chilling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are, of course, ready to go. And you've got 2 veteran coaches leading these squads. Fireburner over on the version 1 side, and we did see Sathu, who just jumped on this season for G2. A wealth of knowledge on both sides for version 1 and G2. And now we'll see how their mental is as we get ready for Game 6 on Neo Tokyo. Version 1 so close to reaching the grand finals, and who would have thought with this team coming into this split, we knew Beast Mode was going to be good. Maybe not this good. It's been a huge upgrade for version 1, and now they're so close, 5 minutes away. We'll wind them up and let them go for Game 6.
I mean, I called out Turtle right at the start of this series and the 48% that voted for version 1, but now, you know, Turtle's won them back. They will be absolutely laughing, happy with their decision, feeling pretty confident it seems, especially as Torment already rains demolitions all over the G2 half, and Com's going for them as well. V1 not looking phased at all after the G2 timeout, picking up where they left off and almost getting that redirect.
Oh, Torment thought about it. He'll just give way to Com, and Chicago has to play this back, and Atomic will come out from the ceiling of the goal, only to watch his team struggle to get downfield, but Chicago does get there. Atomic can play this ball. Downfield, looking in Chicago's general direction. He got the demo on Beast Mode, and still Torment with the stop. Version 1 hold G2 scoreless through the first minute.
Yeah, Torment held his nerve excellently there. He saw his teammate get deleted in front of him and still had to stand up strong, make sure he avoided the bump in the demo himself from Chicago, and still got a chunk of that ball. Good work there from Torment in defense.
Well, Com has let this ball go by, so he'll play a delayed touch to the corner. Atomic still got a piece of it. And now JNaps had to recover on the side wall. It was kind of awkward for him, and he couldn't. Now Chicago gonna have a tough time getting down to this ball with Com taking control. Atomic and JNaps waiting at the back, and you can see maybe G2 taking more of a defensive posture, so one big bumper demo doesn't completely ruin their defensive scheme. 90 seconds gone by, and it seems to be working so far.
They did the same thing yesterday against FaZe Clan. They just played ultra defense, knowing that eventually FaZe Clan would part and they could roll that ball through the Red Sea of their defense. It worked very well for them then. Will V1 fall for the same tricks, or have they been studying those replays and will know exactly what G2 are trying now?
Oh, Com still scores over Atomic. I wondered when maybe G2 might punish version 1 for hanging around on the backboard maybe too much, and then Com just launches downfield, probably the hardest hit ball of this game, and Atomic wasn't ready for it.
I mean, that's a goal out of absolutely nowhere. We were saying that G2 had just turned on solidity mode. You know, they were turtling up. They were being as defensive as they could be, and still they gave away a free goal. Version 1, like, a fair play to them for holding out for as long as they needed to. But that's a freebie. Beast Mode might be able to force this one. The flip reset to the backboard. JNaps reads it and sends it to Chicago.
So another stretch of 4 unanswered goals out of version 1, going back to the 138 mark of Game 5. G2 did answer back on the last such stretch. Gotta have a big one here, though. Atomic gonna collect. Chicago avoids the demo from behind from Com. Beast Mode plays away from JNaps. Now Chicago comes in, and we're gonna have a pause here for just a moment. Welcome back to the Mobile One Mountain Classic. Stacks alongside Cole here as we get back underway between Version 1 and G2. No cause for alarm here. Everything is ready to go now. We're going to restart from a kickoff in Game 6 with Version 1 leading 3-2 in the series, 1-0 in Game 6 with 2:23 to go. And Cole, it's been the story of calm and physical play, specifically from calm, that has led V1 to this point.
Yeah, we were getting some statistics from our local statistician Direct, and apparently Calm is averaging 58 demos per every 3 seconds on the pitch. It's incredible how often he is just beating G2 up. Absolutely ridiculous. But it's working out for them. V1, they're playing so well. They're on fire. They're looking brilliant. G2, can they get back into this series with 2 minutes left?
Calm will collect here with 2 minutes to go. All V1 has to do after all this long delay is hold on for 2 minutes, and Beast Mode makes the initial save on JNaps. Now down to a minute 50. Atomic stuffed by Calm, and Chicago takes over at midfield. He's got Torment to contend with, and Torment makes the initial save. JNaps for the tie, and he scores with a minute 40.
I was going to say it was sort of like a mini game. Can Version 1 hold for 2 minutes after coming back? And the answer was a resounding no, they could not. JNaps slamming that one home. G2 back in it, and suddenly the momentum of this sort of would-be mini-series is entirely with G2.
JNaps, by the way, his series leading 7th, make it 8th goal for G2. And he came in actually as the lowest scoring player on either side. Only 7 goals up to this point. Here goes Beast Mode. Flip reset. Couldn't get by Atomic. Maybe Torment can. Atomic and Chicago hold their ground. And now Calm with the final minute coming up upon us here. Atomic in a bit of trouble, but he dances around Calm, and Beast Mode will bring this right back deep into G2 territory. Torment waiting for maybe one more heroic strike, but that's deflected away, and JNaps second touch to the backboard and cleared by Beast Mode.
Lovely couple of touches there from JNaps, and G2 are putting on their squeeze, but Version 1 have broken through with that pass from Calm. Beast Mode can't quite redirect it. I think that was a genuine chance if Beast Mode could only have got there. But Version 1 have just managed to wrestle back some initiative with 45 seconds left.
Calm now picked his spot. No, Beast Mode's there with 38 to go. V1 back on top.
Brilliant there from Calm. Look at that, just hovering in the air, waiting, drawing G2's defense in, and then taking it past them. Beast Mode, the ball falls to him, and it's 2-1v1.
Calm credited with the assist there. Just add another notch onto an MVP caliber performance. Version 1, half a minute away. Torment downfield, and Atomic just barely catches up. Full tank of boost, but he couldn't use it. Now Chicago will outlet for JNaps. Atomic giving chase as well. We saw G2 play very defensive for a large part of this game. Now they have to throw caution to the wind. Doesn't matter if they concede anymore at this point. 13 seconds to go. Atomic, high fly over Calm. Chicago's there on target. No, it's wide, and Beast Mode clears. Down to the final few seconds. JNaps and Chicago down to their last lives, and that'll do it. Version 1 comes out like a house on fire and storm their way to the grand finals.
Such a good job there from Version 1 at the end. After the delay, when G2 Esports get that quick equalizer, it would have been so simple for Version 1 to just go back into their shell, but they refused. They stood up tall, they kept on fighting, and they put themselves in the grand final of an RLCS regional. A huge turnaround from a team whose star player wasn't even in the Rocket League world in the last split. Now they're here, and they're a team to be feared.
Get a load of these shot totals game by game, and you can identify exactly when things turned around for the better for Version 1. G2 13-7, G2 13-5, G2 again 13-7, and then G2 16-9 in a fourth game that they won in overtime, and then Version 1 9-5 and 8-6 in the final game. Neo Tokyo, the final resting place for G2 in the upper bracket, as Version 1 marches to the grand finals They needed to win this event coming in to absolutely secure a spot in the major, and now they can only improve their seeding even more with a bit of a long wait. But gee, after the wait they just had, what's another hour or so? They have to step aside, and we do as well. When we come back, NRG battles for the #1 seed. If they beat FaZe Clan, they've got it. That's next